This weekend, I think we will see a similar tactic deployed by both managers as they both operate with attacking fullbacks. Chelsea's fullback pairing of Gusto and Chilwell and Liverpool's pairing of Robertson and Bradley leave a lot of space in behind them when they commit forward during attacking play. And that can be exploited by the likes of Sterling, by the likes of Madueke, by the likes of Mudryk, Cole Palmer, and then for Liverpool, the likes of Salah, Nunez, Diaz, Gakpo. These forwards can exploit that space in behind, and I think both teams will look to do that this weekend. However, this tactic will be more beneficial for Chelsea and more frequently used because they will likely have less of the ball. So they'll look to hit Liverpool on the counter, down the flanks and play a lot of long balls in behind. This may not seem abnormal as the majority of sides that face Liverpool tend to exploit them down the flanks as it's the easiest avenue of attack. However, Chelsea are a long ball team, so they'll look to exploit the space in behind the defence more frequently than another side would, and it is evident by the stats. Only 5 teams have achieved more accurate long balls per match than Chelsea in the Premier League this season. So it is clearly evident that when Chelsea attack, Pochettino likes to play long balls and exploit the space in behind.
Exactly, Zach, and this was clearly evident in their league match at Anfield where Chelsea frequently looked to play long balls in behind Liverpool's backline while aiming to target Liverpool's defensive flanks with their attacking fullbacks and dynamic wingers. And this is showcased in this picture here where Raheem Sterling has exploited the space that Conor Bradley has left behind, and that therefore has drawn Konate out, leaving a massive gap in the middle for Conor Gallagher to run through and have that close call penalty shout.
Do you think it was a penalty? Because for me, it's one of those ones that on one day it would be given, the next day not. And if it would have been given and Conor Gallagher or whoever, Palmer would have taken it and scored, it would have changed the whole complexion and the whole dynamic of the game. But for you, is it a penalty?
I think for me, it's very soft, but I do think there's definitely a call for it to be a pen. Like, I understand why you'd ask that to be a pen. I'd understand why you'd maybe have a different take on it, like yourself, where you'd think that's a bit too soft. But I think with the penalties that you have seen given this season by refs, I think that for me, it's probably a penalty, just because if you're trying to be consistent, which as we know refs aren't, that would be given as a pen in another game.
I can see where you're coming from.
And if that is given in the cup final on Sunday, then that definitely
Chelsea have something to build upon then, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. It could definitely change the entire outlook of the game, and Chelsea could then hopefully get their hands on some silverware.
And to lead on from your point, Chelsea once again exploited the space down the flank, but this time on the left-hand side, which was quite unique because Gomez isn't as forward-thinking as Bradley, tends to drop into midfield more, and doesn't seem to push up as much, but Chelsea still managed to exploit the space down the flanks. Van Dijk gets drawn out to Sterling, doesn't win the ball, Sterling gets the ball, drive down that side, plays it to Gusto, bombing on down the flank, fizzes the ball into the box, and Mudryk misses a chance, which seems to be a frequent occurrence for Mudryk, who has failed to impress throughout his Chelsea career. But that's beside the point. The point here is that Chelsea, once again, the avenues that they're trying to create chances from, the avenues that they get enjoy at, is down the flanks. They very rarely attack centrally against Liverpool because it didn't really pay off. The flanks was where the chances were at. A quick change in angle, but I just want to mention that yes, I am aware that Chelsea's only goal did come from a central position. They created that goal in a central area, however that wasn't common during this match. More commonly than not, they created chances down the flanks and that's where they got the most joy. And I think when they play Liverpool on Sunday, that's where they'll get the most joy as well, because there are a lot of gaps and a lot of vacant spaces on those flanks which Chelsea like to exploit with their long balls. Despite attempting 34 long balls this match, Chelsea had an accuracy of only 32%, which is one of their lowest figures this season, which was probably due to Liverpool's press and their immense ability to press from midfield and from the front and put the Chelsea players under pressure when they're attempting to play their long balls. But as you can see, 34 long ball attempts does clearly state that Chelsea were looking to play balls in behind against Liverpool.
And Zach, just like Chelsea, Liverpool also have always preferred playing a long ball in comparison to the extra pass, drawn build-up and attacking play. And this is evident in this screenshot here, where as you can see, Conor Bradley has found himself in a lot of space, and that was actually due to Raheem Sterling, and Ben Chilwell, who is the fullback, has found himself the furthest man up, and Bradley's managed to find himself in a lot of space, and Jota cleverly moves from the right-hand side towards the more centrally, and then Conor Bradley plays a clever pass to Jota, who managed to bundle his way through. A very fantastic footwork, very
of luck,
goal.
But still a very good goal.
A bit of luck, but a fantastic goal, and it's a shame that Liverpool don't have him this Sunday because he will be a massive miss for the Reds in the cup final.
And during that period where Salah was at AFCON and injured, Jota was absolutely brilliant. He has been our main man for the past month, and he won Premier League Player of the Month as well. So to not have him this Sunday will be a big miss. And once again, the space that Bradley was afforded was evident in the second goal. As you can see in this screenshot here, Luis Diaz picks up the ball, plays a clever little pass to Bradley, and yes, there was a bit of luck because Chilwell and Jota came together, but Bradley had that space. He ran down that right-hand side and fizzed the ball into the bottom corner. And let me tell you, that is a brilliant strike.
Finish.
I didn't expect that from him. He got into that position, I thought, I've seen Trent blast these over the bar. Can Bradley finish? And what a finish it was.
I mean, Conor Bradley's been exceptional this season, and it's great that we're talking about him because he could be a pivotal man for this cup final for Liverpool, because he has taken that Trent role and he has been more than he's just performed more than what's expected of him, because he's been fantastic. And obviously I know Liverpool do miss Trent because he is he's a generational
He's our main
talent.
creative outlet, isn't he?
Of course, yeah, and you're going to miss him. You know, you're not going to have many players that can do what Trent do, but Bradley's more than filling the boots of Trent right now at the moment.
And it clearly shows why he won Preston's Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year. And like Harvey said, it did take me by surprise how good he has been. But yeah, that was a really clever play from Diaz and Bradley. And once again, Liverpool were exploiting the space that was left by Chelsea down the flanks. And you may say, how is this unusual, as Liverpool always attack down the flanks with their fullbacks? And yes, they do. However, over the last year, since Trent's obviously come to that inverted role, we've seen Liverpool operate slightly differently. And traditionally on that right-hand side, you see the fullback come in, whereas now we're seeing Bradley bomb on, almost like an Andy Robertson, but on that right-hand side. And it's really, really clever and really, really effective. And Chelsea obviously afford more space than other teams who sit in and play with like a back 4 or 5 that don't really push up. Because Chilwell pushes up so far down that left-hand side, the full-back for Liverpool has got so much space to run into, score and create chances.
Chilwell was subbed off at half-time for Gusto, and Badiashile was then shifted to left-back in an attempt to limit the space that Bradley had to operate in.
But you may think, now that Gusto's playing at right back instead of Disasi was the man who started there, are Chelsea just going to get exploited down their right-hand side like they did down their left-hand side in the first half? Well, no, because Gomez plays left back for Liverpool and he did in this match. And he isn't as attack-minded as Bradley. Yes, he does push forward, but he tends to drop into midfield and doesn't sort of operate up and down that flank like Bradley does. So the problem for Chelsea there was sort of nullified a little bit, and they could fully focus on that side where Bradley was. However, as we saw, and we will show you in these screenshots, it didn't fully work for Chelsea, and they still encountered the same problems that they did during the first half. And as we can see, with Liverpool's third goal, just like the second, just like the first, Bradley is afforded loads of space on the right-hand side to operate in. And this is one of the best fullback displays I've seen from a Liverpool player in a long, long time. 2 assists and a goal and a superb defensive display and a clean sheet whilst he was on the pitch as well. But yeah, that's beside the point. 49 long balls Liverpool played this match. And Van Dijk switched the play over to Bradley. He controlled it down brilliantly. And despite Badiashile playing there over Chilwell, Bradley still got the better of him and picked out a beautiful ball into the box. And Szoboszlai headed it home. Liverpool had a long ball success rate of 57%, which is much better than Chelsea's 32%. And that's likely due to Chelsea not pressing up as much. At Anfield, they maybe want to be a bit more conservative. They're not as much of a pressing team as Liverpool. Whereas, as we said with Chelsea, Liverpool, they were so press-driven. They were so dynamic from the front. One of the best displays I've seen from Liverpool this season in terms of pressing and winning the ball back.
Aggressive.
So yes, Chelsea were afforded very little time on the ball, which is probably down to why they had a poor long ball accuracy during this match. As far as fitness goes, Jota, Trent, Jones and Alisson, they're all out for Sunday. 4 big misses there, although Alisson might have not played anyway. And then Thiago, Bajcetic and Matip, they're out, and they have been out for a significant while. Yes, Thiago came back for that short stint against Arsenal, but he's out again, which is a shame. But at least Nunez is in contention because he has to play, especially now Jota's not available. This season, Liverpool haven't lost a game when Darwin Nunez has started. That's how important he is. And considering Chelsea play with their attacking fullbacks and they leave a lot of space in behind, Nunez can exploit that on Sunday, can't he?
Exactly, and that is exactly why this man is in the thumbnail, because he can be that star guy for Liverpool, because if he is to play, as Zach just mentioned, he can exploit that space in behind Chelsea's defence, as we know he is a killer at doing that. And as we can also see, in the last match between Chelsea and Liverpool, when they faced off a couple of weeks ago, Nunez was an absolute monster winning that game. I mean, I know he missed a penalty and people can laugh at him, but he had 11 shots that match and hit the woodwork 4 times, which I know people will laugh at that and think, how can you say that's dangerous? But that's showing a lot of danger.
He has a record in the Premier League as well for hitting the woodwork in one game.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. I've seen that. So Nunez, for me, absolutely can be that man that Liverpool need to win that cup final, because he is crucial. And if Conor Bradley plays like he did against Chelsea, and we get a Nunez like we saw against Brentford, because as we can see, Nunez has that time to being clinical, and he's showing signs of being clinical. Like, it's not like the guy keeps missing chances.
No, he has got the ability in his locker. I think it's just his decision making in the final third.
We've seen a lot of potential with Nunez, and against Brentford recently, we've seen that little dink over the goalkeeper, and that was a fantastic finish. So if Nunez is anything like that, or anything like he was against Brentford in terms of his clinicalness, then absolutely Nunez.
Combine both performances together, we might see a whole new Darwin.
Absolutely, we can see Nunez become that star man for Liverpool and help Liverpool win the trophy on Sunday.
Chelsea will be without Chukwuemeka, Cucurella and Reece James and all the other long-term injuries they have. However, they may have Thiago Silva for Sunday, which will be very
pivotal for
them. It'd be absolutely pivotal if he's available, because he is arguably their best defender. He's a leader and he makes their backline much more assured. even though he did play in the 4-1 at Anfield,
Yeah.
which is a bit like that. But he is a quality player, and
He's
you can
fantastic for
respect him as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
Consistency off the charts, and Sánchez could be back
That'd
because
be interesting.
Petrovic, although he's not a bad keeper, he raises a lot of eyebrows in terms of, is he the most complete? Can he play the ball out well? Is he the best shot stopper? There's a lot of questions surrounding him.
I don't think he's been too bad.
Do you not think he's been too bad?
No, I mean, listen, he's not been world class. He's not been outstanding, but he is a number 2 goalkeeper for a reason. He's not expected to come in and
set the world alight.
Yeah, set the world alight. Like, he looks like sort of Kelleher. He does the job. I think obviously Kelleher's better, but in terms of, you're not expecting Kelleher to be Alisson, and it's the same with Petrovic. You're not expecting him to be Robert Sánchez and be
although Sánchez isn't even an amazing goalkeeper.
No, he's not.
I think maybe the level between them, the disparity between them isn't too much. So
no, it's probably not as much as people think.
Will Pochettino look to play Sánchez given he's just come back from an injury when the level's not that big, or will he just stick with Petrovic because he's got the sharpness and the consistency under his belt?
That'd be interesting. I think he might go for Sánchez in terms of just reliability. I think
he's a better ball player than Petrovic.
Yeah, he's definitely better from playing out the back, and obviously that's what Pochettino will want to do because that's just his philosophy. That's always how he wants to play,
and he'll be able to hit the long balls as well. That Chelsea
exactly.
Likes to do.
He'd love to hit the long balls, and he can help Chelsea exploit Liverpool. But I just think he will go for Sánchez. I think Petrovic, if he did play him, I don't think it'd be too much of a surprise because I think he has been fairly consistent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think he's been pretty decent for Chelsea. He's not been bad. He's not been awful, but he's not been world class. But then, as we mentioned earlier, neither Sánchez. So it'd be very interesting to see which one he goes for. But for me, in my personal opinion, I do think he'll go for Robert Sánchez.
But it's also worth a mention, what midfield 3 will Chelsea deploy on Sunday? Because they played with Gallagher, Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez against Liverpool the other week, and they got absolutely destroyed. We just totally bullied them, nullified their threat, and that was with Macallister, Jones and Szoboszlai. And Szoboszlai is an injury doubt, and Jones is ruled out for the game. So that means, do Liverpool's second string midfield put up the same threat to Chelsea like they did in the match the other week? But then at the same time, Gallagher got subbed at half-time. Can't remember if that was injury or tactical. But if it is tactical, then it means that Pochettino obviously saw there was a big weakness with that midfield 3.
Sure.
So I'm not too sure what the midfield battle will be. It really depends upon personnel. But if it's anything like it was a couple of weeks ago, Chelsea just won't be able to play out. They did, yes, in the second half, but that was the change in personnel. Liverpool sort of get a bit more tired. But if Liverpool can really capitalise on their sort of dominance, if they do sort of dominate the first 20 minutes, half an hour, first 45 minutes in all really, then I think it would be a long day for Chelsea. But yes, it's all if, buts and maybes. But the question I want to ask you is, do you think Macallister or Endo is better suited to playing in the 6? Because I know there may be Endo might play there because Liverpool's lack of bodies, but if they have Elliott and Gravenberch, or Elliott and Szoboszlai, if he does make it back in time, then you can afford to play Macallister in that 6. And he made 6 tackles against Chelsea when they played about 2 weeks ago. So it does show you that in that position he can win the ball back, but then at the same time Endo is a destroyer. So who do you think is better suited to that position for Liverpool on Sunday?
I think for me personally, I think Endo I'd go for Endo in the number 6.
Interesting.
Just because I haven't been a great fan of Endo. I mean, you know that as well. Like I've not been.
He's a bit sloppy in the ball.
Yeah, and I think defensively he's decent. He's pretty decent, but just going forward, when you look at the DMs that you see, like the top DMs in the league, the likes of Rice and Rodri and even Basuma to an extent, like they're all very good at playing forward on the front foot. And Endo for me is not that good at all.
He's not going to open up a defence with a line splitting pass.
And that's where he costs you. Because when Liverpool want to open up Chelsea, that's where a player like Endo can cost you. And someone like Macallister would be better suited because
Macallister can pick up the ball on the half turn.
He can break the
play
lines.
a line splitting pass and exploit Chelsea. But the thing is, if Gallagher plays and Endo plays, I don't know whether Pochettino might think, let's stick Gallagher on Endo because he's not the most competent on the ball. Gallagher likes to press, he has high pressing numbers, high ball winning numbers, and then stop Liverpool from sort of progressing through that central area and just look to maybe push Liverpool down the flanks, which we could potentially see. But then at the same time, I think Endo is, I don't know if he's...
I think he's just more defensively solid in my opinion in terms of
although Macallister, like I said, 6 tackles against Chelsea, by far the most in that match. And he's really impressed me in the DM as of late.
Very true, that's true. I mean, listen, I think Pochettino might go for maybe a different sort of style in the midfield. And as we saw, he made a tactical change at half-time, and that's because he saw it wasn't working. So he obviously is trying to figure out a way to defeat someone like Macallister. And I think if you put Endo in there, I think there's just a lot more defensive structure in there for Liverpool in that DM role. I think Macallister...
You could play Macallister in the 8 alongside an Elliott or something.
I'll be honest, it sort of depends what Chelsea team turns up. Because if you play Macallister and Chelsea are the worst that we've seen this season. We've seen some awful Chelsea performances this season. And if they do play like that, I think that's when we can see Macallister thrive and play in between the lines and help break the lines. And someone like Endo be sort of a detriment to Liverpool. But if it's the other way around and we see Chelsea do a performance like they did against City, for example, or they perform fantastic, then that is where you need someone like Endo to perhaps maybe be secure in that midfield and keep Liverpool defensively solid. And someone like Macallister could be exposed from that.
But then, like I said, Chelsea could almost look to target Endo if they are on top and they are playing well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Both our points are right, but they do contradict each other.
Whatever Klopp goes for, it will completely change the way Liverpool will performing. Like, Macallister would definitely help Liverpool become more on the front foot. Endo, not as much. Like, it definitely will.
Endo would be more happy to sit back. Not that Macallister marauds forward, but Macallister maybe will take those extra touches.
Yeah, exactly.
Spray the ball out to the right, out to the left, and be happy to receive it in tighter areas under pressure. So
and I think Klopp has a massive decision in this match on Sunday in terms of who he goes for in that DM role. It's similar to the fullback position as well, because it will definitely affect the way Liverpool play on Sunday in that cup final.
But I think he will play Endo in the number 6, like Harvey suggested, because we don't have as many bodies. Jones is out. Sobbers lies an injury doubt. So there's 2 players there who would have definitely started in the 8s, and Macallister would have been in the 6.
Massive miss.
And since Endo's come back from the Asia Cup, he's basically played every minute for Liverpool in that position.
It goes to show you that he's vital for Klopp, and Klopp sees him as a crucial player.
He sees him as that man in the midfield.
Exactly, and it'd be really weird to see him drop him or put him on the bench for the cup final when he's played literally every minute since returning from the Asian Cup. So
yeah, I think Klopp will go over in there, but it is a lot of if, buts and maybes surrounding the Liverpool team, especially with all their injuries and injury doubts, and also surrounding the Chelsea team at the moment. Anyway, comment down below, who do you think will win the match on Sunday? Do you think Pochettino will get his hands on his first piece of silverware as Chelsea boss?
Yeah,
or do you think Liverpool will win their first piece of silverware, and hopefully the first of many this season? Comment down below your predictions. Hit the like button if you have enjoyed this. Yes, it is, exactly. That's why we need to make sure we can win as many as possible. But we can't...
Do it for Klopp.
We got to do it for Klopp. We have to do it for Klopp. But we can't rest too many players against Luton because the league is so tight. So
yeah, of course,
Klopp's stuck in a predicament there, especially with our Finn squad. But comment down below your predictions. Like this video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. And we'll catch you in the next one.